Okay, so the first part of our flight plan, able to go. We look at our MELs, weather and NOTAMs. Step 2, we look, do we need an alternate? And we use the weather, right? More specifically, the TAP. Okay. Step 3, rough bill or route, meaning we just file direct, and then we pad the mileage by 10%, and that'll give us what?
ETA.
It'll give us ETA.
Distance.
Okay. ETA, distance, and what do we do with those? What do we figure out? What are we figuring out there? What's that? ETE. Okay.
Oh, fuel.
Fuel.
So what does pad miles mean? Oh, add miles.
Pad.
Add.
Yes. So we're going to pad the mileage by 10% to kind of account for any flight course changes or any reroutes, basically. Okay. And why do we need this information?
ETA for the weather when you get there.
Okay. So it helps us with this, right? So these kind of all need to happen basically at the same time, right? This should take you about 5 minutes to get to this point. 5-10 minutes, right? Okay. So this is going to help with this section. Okay. What else is it going to do? What is this going to do?
So check for weight and balance.
Yeah. Okay. 4. We do a quick, oops. Weight and balance. Okay. So with our weight and balance, what does that include? Temperature, weight, and balance starts.
Passengers.
So what is
Contains.
what's involved?
Takeoff.
Okay, so we're finding out our takeoff weight. Let's use the correct terms here. So takeoff weight would be considered MTOW, right? What else? Our zero fuel weight, right? What else? Our landing weight. Okay. Oh, actually,
And the CG.
so max landing weight, CG, CG,
Payload.
payload. Okay, that's our zero fuel weight, basically. Our payload plus the bow of the aircraft is our zero fuel weight. Okay. Anything else? I'll clean this up a little bit. Okay. Okay, once we've completed our weight and balance, what's the next step? Okay, this is where we get into simplified, right? Okay, to find our simplified flight planning, or to do this, what does that involve? What's the first step on our simplified flight planning?
Do we need ISA?
Yeah. Okay, we need ISA where?
To climb or take off.
At our departure airport. Okay. What's the next step in simplified flight planning?
So break down that segment, the climb segment. In terms
Okay.
of time, fuel distance, and true airspeed.
There's something actually that we need to do about right chair. Right?
Yeah.
So this part we've this is like our legal to go part. Right? That's kind of all inclusive. You do that, like that, get it done, gives us our legal to go.
And then the alternate too, if you have one.
Right. So we select our alternate. Okay. I'm actually going to move this up to here. After we've figured out legal to go, we're going to build that route and start actually flight planning. Okay. In our legal to go, we'll also find our alternate. Okay. Which is right here, but when we rough build our route, we want to build our alternate into that and make sure that we're going to be able to, get weather for that as well and make sure that's legal. Okay. So we build route between here and here. Okay. Weight and balance here, simplified flight plan. So, what is the first thing we do on our? We find out our ISA at the departure airport. What do we do with ISA at the departure airport before we figure out our climb and descent? Well, our climb portion. We need to figure out something.
Deviation.
I just show you
Move
that.
time.
Huh?
Move time.
Getting closer. Yeah. So, well, that's the climb and descent, but en route. So our flight level, altitude capability.
And,
Okay. Okay. After we found out our altitude, what's our next step? Hit it, Greg.
you need time, fuel distance, and true airspeed in there somewhere on the climb.
So you need to figure out your climb. Okay. After you figure out your climb, you figure out what? Descent. Okay. And what do we need to figure out the descent? We'll just figure this out at the same time since we're on that. Okay, what you guys need to make a note of between these two is we only need the departure airport ISA deviation to find out our altitude capability. This only comes into play when we're figuring out our descent, okay? Does that make sense?
Can you repeat that?
Okay. I put ISA at departure airport and destination airport.
Okay.
The only thing you need to find to continue on to the altitude capability is technically the departure airport's ISA deviation, right? To figure out your destination airport's descent, so the descent, top of descent going into your destination airport, you need to have the ISA deviation at that airport, right? That's what drives our performance. Okay. Okay. Actually, before we even do that, we're missing a spot, right? We're missing something.
Winds?
Okay, that actually, never mind. So, right here, okay. Hope you're writing with a pencil, my bad. Okay, so we need to figure out our, so we need to figure out our average heading and winds. Okay, what are we looking at there? How are we figuring out our heading and winds?
The heading is on our chart, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we'll just take an average heading over all of our different legs, right? Okay. And to find out our winds, what chart do we look at? Winds log chart. Okay. We take an average at our altitude. So average at altitude we have filed, right? Or that we're capable of. So what altitude we're going to cruise at, right? So our cruising altitude, just as a reminder on this altitude capability, what do we need to apply to our capability before we make it set in stone? You guys remember?
Is it east or west?
Yeah, so you're NEOD Sweden, right? NEOD southwest even. Okay, this needs to be applied to that. Okay, because we need to figure out what flight level we're going to be cruising at. So if it's north from the north to the east, all the way down to the 179, remember, we're planning at odd altitudes. Southwest to even, southwest to 359 is even altitudes, right? We're good with that? Okay. Our average, let's see, winds at altitude need to be figured out. So we're getting back into here. So average winds and temps at our altitude, okay? And we do that, so we have, say, 360. So it says 36,000 at the top of the chart. We've got MBS, PDX, let's see. What was it? BLD, whatever. Each one of these have like 2558, 54, 2, 3, 6, 2, 5, 2, 2, 7, 5, 0, 5, 2. Okay, so we'd have to take the average of our entire en route section, right? So we split it 2 digits each, right? So the first 2 digits are our wind direction. This is our wind speed. And our temp. Okay. Take an average of each of those. That gives us our average winds and temps for our simplified flight plan. Okay, what's the next step we do with those simplified winds and average heading? Or average wind, average heading. What do we do with those?
We do our simplified, do we go to this chart?
Yeah, spaghettis. Okay, simplified fuel. Okay. And this is where we start, right? Basically, we'll start right here. Is everybody good there? Okay, so we've worked up to this point. We've worked a little further on this flight plan, but we're going to do some review on actual numbers. Okay? So you guys got to have this first part down pat, right? You got how many minutes to kind of figure that out? 20 minutes? Courtney, how long did it take you? About 15 minutes? 10?
To do what?
To figure out if you're legal to go, basically.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. It's not too bad, huh? Kind of freak yourself out before the test, and then you get in there and you're like, oh, that was really obvious.
Well, yeah, he doesn't give you like a ton to look at. You're just kind of deciding which one between like 4 others. Which one's late ones are we good, which ones aren't.
Yep. Okay. So, does everybody feel good up to there? Promise? Promise? Okay. All right. So, now that we have all this information, let's apply it to some real numbers. Okay, we've done our weight and balance, right? Let me put it on here. Okay. And Adam should be getting here any minute now, so have no fear. Okay. So what was our total weight? The 57,982. So that's 2, 8, 11. Carry the 1. It's 13, 63, 182. Right?
Still not showing up on on the screen on our end.
Oh. My bad. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take the 20, negative 28.1. I'll copy this box. Okay. That's 84.4 minus 28.1.
You said 28.
Yeah, 84.4 minus 28.1, 56.3. Okay. And our fuel, let's say 2.6. Everybody get that? Minus 2.6.
And I don't know why, but on my fuel, I have 6233.
That's what I have.
Oh, you have 6233?
Yeah, I have estimated at 3733 and then added the 25,
Okay.
but I don't know.
So we'll change this to
That was the rate.
2.7. Okay. I'll match you guys on that for sure. Come on. And that gives us our grand total down here. 56.3 minus 2.7, 53.6. Yeah?
Yeah,
Does everybody have about that same thing?
I have 51.7, that's because I,
That's close enough. Okay, 53.6 with the gross landing, gross takeoff weight of 63,182 plus 53.6 puts us about right, Chair.
And my takeoff was 64,215.
Okay, that works. Either way. 64,215, that's good. Oh yeah, I increased that. 64,215?
Yep.
Okay. So 64,215, 53.6. Somewhere right there. Well within our CG. Okay. Let's figure out our landing weight really quick. And we can just type it on the bottom here. Come on. Landing weight is 64,215 minus, oh wait, no, hold on. 6233 minus 2,500. And we'll take that and subtract that from our 64. $215. That gives us 60,482. Everybody got the same thing?
So basically you take your takeoff weight, and you take the amount of fuel you have minus 2,500 because you're not using reserves.
That's how I did it. Yeah.
Okay, so you just do like, okay, so 6233 minus 2,500, and then you apply that number to your takeoff weight, and that's not your landing weight. Roughly.
Yeah. So your landing weight is all your fuel minus the burn off. So if you have an alternate or whatever, you need the alternate fuel on there too. So make sure that it's the burn off. I know that we didn't have anything other than just burn off and reserve, right? Our burn and reserve on this flight. So that's why I did it that way. But always make sure that you're only subtracting the burn off, because we don't plan to burn our alternate fuel and we don't plan to burn our hold fuel. Okay. Does that make sense? Those are there for the what if scenario, right? Okay. So our landing index now changes from 53.6 since our weight was
What do we use the landing index for again?
just to make sure that when we land, I mean, you don't have to put this down. This is more for reference. 1233 was our burn. More information, the better, right?
Yeah, I just couldn't remember what we did with it before, so.
So if you're kind of on the border, it's good to always run your landing index just to make sure that
You're still in CG.
you're staying in CG. Okay, landing index comes to, well, it's 2,500 pounds, right? So 1.5 minus 1.5 instead of 2.7. 54.8. Okay. That's our estimated. Everybody good to that point?
Scroll up just a little bit.
Mhm.
The other way.
Oh. Okay. So you can even mark that point too, 60 and 54.
Are you taking anything else off that landing weight besides the reserve?
So taxi and reserve, off the total fuel.
We don't calculate taxi fuel at all.
Right. So
So yeah, like it shouldn't be on there in the first place. So our taxi fuel is always planned on being burnt, right?
That's gone before the takeoff weight.
So that's gone before your takeoff weight.
So it's basically just our zero fuel weight plus our reserve in this case. Right?
Yes. In this case, it's zero fuel weight plus a reserve of 2,500 pounds. If you want to figure out what the burn off is, I mean, I can't remember what our total was. If you do 62.33 minus the 2,500, that gives us 37.33 was what we calculated for our burn off. Okay. So we just finished off our weight and balance. Okay. Now we need to figure out our ISA deviation at the departure airport, correct? We just barely started. Is everybody's brain fried?
So, of course, okay, so we're starting our simple flight plan.
Yeah. So we finished off our weight and balance really quick. Now we're going to go to simplified. Okay. So we go to our departure airport. What was our departure airport again? Denver. Okay. Why do we need information off the chart here?
The elevation of the airport, right?
Okay, we need the elevation of the airport. So, that being said, where do we find that elevation?
I find it on your airport's diagram.
Okay. So it's your 10-9 chart. It says it in the top left corner there, right? Can everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Everybody see? Okay. So our elevation at our departure airport is 54,034. What do we round that to? Just to make the math easy. 55. So for our ISA deviation, we always just round to the nearest 500, right? Okay, 5,500. So what is our ISA? What is ISA before we figure out our deviation, we gotta figure out ISA, right? What is ISA at our departure airport?
4 degrees.
4 degrees.
I wanna figure out the-
And we found that out.
It's 5.5 times 2.
So 5.5 times 2 gives us 11 degrees, correct? Okay. Now we take our corrected temperature. Where's he at? Was it you that we were figuring this out? How to say this correctly?
Oh, yeah, that's me.
That was you. Okay, so we take our standard temperature
Minus-
at sea level and we subtract our corrected temperature. That gives us 4 degrees Celsius. So everybody good there? So standard temperature at sea level, right? And then this is our corrected temp for field elevation. Good?
So, to figure your ISA at your departure airport, you would go to your 10-9 chart and you round it to the nearest 500s. And so whatever that altitude comes out to be, you always times that by 2 and then minus that from your standard
Temperature of 15 degrees. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, sweet.
Okay. Notice that it's 5.5 though and not 5,000. We just moved that decimal place over 3, right? So our altitude at the departure airport is 5,500. Move it to the left 3, and that gives us that 5.5, correct? So if, since we're doing this right now, I'm not trying to confuse you. We figured out this is 4 degrees. This is ISA at KDEN. Okay? So, not screw you guys up, but on winds aloft, we have, say, 39,000 feet. Okay? We take that decimal point, move it over 3. Okay? That gives us 39, correct? 39 times 2 is 78. Okay? We take 15, we subtract 78,
63.
which gives us negative 63 degrees C at flight level 390. Everybody got it now? Figure out our ISA. That's to figure out ISA. Okay. That being said, 4 degrees C at Denver. Okay. What is our temperature at Denver? Where do we find that? What's that?
On our calculator,
Okay.
Where?
18, it's
On the
Meantime,
METAR. Okay. We're figuring out current ISA deviation, right? Okay. That's the most current temperature we got. So it is 18 degrees C at Denver currently. So this is true. This is ISA. Okay. Do our little number line here. Okay. So this is 0, this is 4, and this is 18. Okay. Are we moving to the right or to the left?
right.
To the left.
Because 4 is ISA, 18 is actual.
I didn't want to watch that
Okay.
confusion, I just do it.
So 4 degrees C, we go from ISA, right? We are finding the deviation from ISA. So we will go from ISA, what direction are we going? To the right.
Not bigger or smaller, just smaller.
Okay. we are going to the right, so that makes our ISA deviation a positive or a negative temperature? Positive temperature. So ISA plus, we know that much. Now what's the deviation? 14. Okay. Our ISA deviation at our ETD, our estimated time of departure, is ISA plus 14 degrees Celsius, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now for the sake of our charts, what are we going to use?
15.
ISA plus 15. Why?
There's not a 14 chart.
Okay, there's not a 14 chart. What's the other reason?
Penalize it.
We're going to penalize it with a warmer temperature, right? So if our ISA deviation is -4, what would we do? What chart would we use?
0.
Warmer, right? We'd use ISA. Always go warmer.
I fell behind when you were starting to talk about the cruise altitude times, or when you were on the cruise altitude part. I kind of fell behind.
Okay. It's the same exact way as we figured out here.
Yeah.
Okay?
I don't know how. I
Okay.
can't figure you got the 18.
So write out 390. Okay? Move the, so 390.00. Move that decimal point 3 spots to the left. That gives us 39, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, 39 times 2 gives us what?
18.
So remember, I see where you got lost. This is completely separate from this. Completely separate. This is Denver, ISA. Okay? So don't look at these temperatures. These are for Denver. Okay? 39 times 2 is 78. 78, so 15 is our standard temperature. Minus 78 degrees gives us a minus 63 degrees C. Okay?
Mhm.
And this number here is ISA at flight level 390. Okay. That's it.
So you
None of this.
So you don't apply that to the chart.
None of this.
Okay.
This is Denver.
It's just an
Denver,
example of how to
This is
find
an example of wind's aloft.
Okay.
This is finding ISA at altitude.
Okay.
Okay?
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't
Yeah.
forgetting this step.
Yep. Okay. So now we have our ISA deviation and we have the chart that we're going to be using, correct? Okay, now you can throw it here. Okay? And I can erase all this, right? Snap it. Anybody? Good? Okay. Okay. Now that we have that, where do we look next? Okay. Got it all right here. What's the next spot?
Find altitude capabilities.
Okay. We got to find our altitude capability using our ISA deviation at our departure airport. Okay, so we go into what chart to find our altitude capability?
flight plan.
Huh?
Flight planning altitude section.
Okay, yep, flight planning altitude section. And it's going to be in our CR 700 flight planning, correct? Okay. Ooh, there it is. Ooh, there it is. Okay. So I'm gonna draw it out on here, just in case you can't see it over there. I'm gonna write out the weights. So 60,000, 62, 64, 66. Okay. And then the altitudes are over on this side, right? So we got 35, 37, 39, and 41. Okay. Then from there, we've got these three lines here. Okay. And the first line, this is ISA plus 20 degrees C. ISA at 15. And ISA at 10 degrees C and below. Okay. So the first thing that we do is we take our gross takeoff weight. So our MTOW, right? Max takeoff weight. Okay. What was that?
64,215.
64,215. Okay. From 64,215, remember there's dots here. Each dot is 500 on this chart. Okay. So it's like just below the first dot after 64,000. We go straight up to our ISA at 15 degrees C. Once we hit that ISA at 15 degrees C, or ISA plus 15, we follow it over to the side of our chart, correct? So that's not what it actually is. We'll do it on this TV. I just wanted to give you guys a good visual example. It's all blown up. Okay, 64,000 feet. We go straight up till we hit our ISA at 15C, and then straight to the left, and that gives us our altitude capability, which is actually pretty damn close. Okay, we are capable of flight level 390. Why not 40,000?
Because don't we only go to?
We always go 1,000 below.
Gonna round it down rather than.
So this might actually come to like 39424, something crazy like that if we were to get like super precise. Okay, we can't go up to 40,000 feet, right? This is the absolute highest we can go, 39,424. So we'd always round that down to the next lowest thousand, right? Which is 39,000. Okay, is that our final altitude that we choose for this route? Okay, what do we need to do?
Take 1,000 off Sweden.
So Neon Sweden, what direction are we heading? Denver to Salt Lake City.
West.
We're heading west, so we go even.
So
So what is our flight level?
38,000.
So we choose flight level 380.
Alright, so after you figure out your gross weight, you go all the way up to whatever deviate that ISA plus number is, and then you go to
Your altitude.
the altitude, and then you always round down, and then from there you apply the Neon Sweden
Yep.
to that, and
Yep.
whatever it is. So
That gives us 38,000.
38,000. Okay. So what if it was already at 38,000 before? Can you just?
So if we come up on 38,000 exactly, then we're good.
So you don't have to round down.
But anything 1 foot below 38,000 feet, you gotta go down to 36,000 feet.
Okay.
Does that make sense? We cannot go higher than that flight level
Okay.
due to the performance of the aircraft. Okay, everybody have this. Beautiful. Okay, what is the next step?
Look on the climb.
Okay, where do we go to find? So we chose here, we chose flight level 380. Okay, now where do we go for our climb and descent data?
Distance and time.
Well, we go to our descent and do the same thing.
Well, we can, yep,
Climb chart for ice report.
yeah, we've got the climb chart.
Never
So
mind.
Yvonne said something that we can do really quick since we're already on the subject. We can write this down really quick, right? So on the back of our flight plans, we do this graph, right? So we got KDEN here. We've got plus 15. What was
34
Flight level.
5434? What was that?
is the altitude.
Oh, 5434, okay. So we're pretty much done with 5434. You can write that down though. You don't have to write everything down here. You can add to it, you can do whatever you want. Like I said, more information always better, right? Okay, winds,
Variable at 3 knots.
so VRB at 3, okay? And temperature?
18?
So 18 degrees C. We'll actually throw this up here on this line here. Okay. Okay, we chose a flight level. Right? Okay. So, KSLC, to figure out our ISO deviation. Okay, what is the elevation? Where do we go find the elevation of Salt Lake?
Go to Jepson charts.
Okay, go to our Jepson charts. And we'll take a look at Salt Lake City International.
42, you said?
And, oops, 4227. Okay, so 4227, what way do you guys want around?
42.
Where?
45.
Times 2.
4,500, okay, so we're rounding up. Okay, so 4,500, okay, move that decimal point over 3, gives us 4.5. Multiply that by 2, that gives us what? 9. So we take 15 degrees, which is our ISA at MSL. Okay, 15, and we subtract 9. That gives us what?
6 degrees.
So positive 6 degrees C at Salt Lake City. Okay. That is ISA at Salt Lake City. Now, what is the current temperature in Salt Lake City?
13 degrees Celsius.
Okay. So we take our 6 here, our 13 here, draw our number line here, right? Okay, here's 0. From ISA, are we moving to the right or the left?
Right.
Right, so it's a positive number. Okay, and what is our deviation from standard temperature?
+7.
Okay, +7, okay. Our ISA deviation at Salt Lake City, 7 degrees C. Okay. ISA deviation at Salt Lake City is +7 degrees, so what chart do we use for the sanity sake?
Plus 10.
ISA plus 10 degrees C. Everybody good there? Okay. What is our winds in Salt Lake City? What was that?
100
degrees is 12 knots.
100 at 12. Okay. All right. So now we've got to figure out this portion, right? Okay. Good. We've eliminated everything there. Okay. Climb and descent. And for that, we go into our climb charts. Okay. Remember, it says in-flight performance climb data, climb right here. Everybody see that? So we're looking at this box here. Okay, and we've got to go to the plus 15 chart because that is our ISA deviation in Denver. Okay, so we go to ISA plus 15, and what was our takeoff weight? Minto? 64,000. Okay, so lucky you guys. 64,000 pounds. And what was our flight level?
380.
380. So we're between these two boxes right here. So we get to interpolate. Okay, so what are our numbers? What numbers do we care about?
So you would, if you're in between, so since you're in between those two flight levels, you would add all the numbers up and then divide it by 2.
So 20, we would start with the first two numbers, right?
Yeah.
We're looking for our time, so we do 26.9 plus 23.6,
And then divide that by 2.
and that equals 5, carry the 1, 0, carry the 1, 50.5, and we would divide this number by 2. 50.5 divided by 2 is 25.25. 25.25, we'll round it to 25.3. How about that? 25.3. Everybody good there? So you guys figure out the rest of those numbers really quick.
Which numbers do we care about again? You want us to find them all out or just?
So the time, distance, fuel, and airspeed
So we never,
on our climb and descent.
so you said that we don't ever pay attention to our Mach or our RLC.
Now look at your Machs. What's your Mach? 0.70, 400, 0.74. So the Mach speed on there, we're using the 0.74 Mach chart. So the Mach is always, we're not even worried about it. It's going to be 0.74. Okay. Our rate of climb, we don't care about our rate of climb because what we care about is how far is it and how long is it going to take to get there and how much fuel we're going to burn. Okay. So that being said, what's our first number here? So TLC, we've got our time, we figured out was going to be 25.3. Okay, what was our distance? 175.2 plus 151 divided by 2.
163.1.
163.1. Okay, what is our fuel?
2,388.
2,388. Okay, and our speed?
387.
387. Okay. So now we have our top of climb. Okay. Now, let's go and figure out our descent since we did a little pre-planning and figured out
So this one,
our ISA deviation.
okay. This is the one.
What was that?
I think this is the one where you have to interpolate using two charts that are diagonal.
Okay, we'll see here. So our descent, we found out that Salt Lake was what ISA deviation? What chart?
10 degrees.
ISA plus 10, okay? And how do we figure out our landing? So our landing weight was what? 60,000. So land was 60,482. Okay, 60,482. What do we do to this number to figure out the weight we're going to use for our performance chart?
Add fuel burn on the descent.
Right, our fuel burn on the descent, and we just average that out at 300 pounds, right? Okay. Okay, 60,782. Didn't change it too much, did it? So we'll use 61,000 pounds because we're going to penalize it just a hair. Okay.
How do you know it's 300? I can't remember that one.
If you look at our chart here, pretty much the average, if you're at 30,000 feet to 40,000 feet, comes out to be about 300 pounds.
Okay, so we're just using a general number.
Yeah, just a general number. And I mean, like, your smallest number is going to be what, like 170, the biggest number is going to be 489, so 300 is pretty good.
Okay.
Middle,
So that's descent burn.
yeah, so that's our descent burn. We're just going to average out to 300.
I was gonna be impressed if you had an average that just went off and came up with 300.
I wish.
You said that the landing weight was what again? 61? Okay.
We pulled out off of what?
Off of your weight balance.
Off of our weight and balance.
So you always add 300 pounds?
I do.
You do?
For my performance, to drive my performance.
Okay.
Okay, because that could, put me, that's 1,000 pounds different. It's not huge, but it just gives us a good general number to figure out, this is about where we should be at the top of descent. Okay, top of descent, where does that put us in our boxes? What can you do that?
There's 4 boxes now, right?
Is it the 62?
Okay, it puts us basically, so we're at 38,000 feet and we're smack dab between 60 and 62, right?
No.
So it puts us in these 4 boxes, correct?
Okay, so I'm the wrong flight east.
Our total time.
I'm only ever gonna fly east.
So our top order descent for
So-
our time is 16.3.
16.3, okay, just 1 second. Just to make this easier on you guys, if you guys remember, so we've got 4 boxes driving our performance, right? So we take the highest and the lowest, and we only have 2 boxes, right? So just to verify that, 389 is higher than 387, so I know this is the higher performing box.
I see. So it's not just the
Top
box,
left.
it's the number that's in the box that you're looking at?
Right, but it'll always be your top left box and your bottom right box.
Oh, that's percent.
And that's only if you fall smack dab.
In 4 boxes.
Four boxes.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, we'll take our highest and our lowest and then average these two. That way we don't have to do tons and tons and tons of math. Okay, top of the set. What are we concerned with again? What numbers?
Time, distance, fuel, speed.
Time, distance, fuel, and speed. Okay, so you said 16.1 for our time.
16.4.
16.4, okay, for our time. What was our mileage?
It's 105.3.
105.3. What is our fuel burn?
358 pounds.
358. Okay, and what is our speed?
That I did not get yet. 385.
385? Okay. Okay. That is the top of descent. Lucky for you guys, you have the shortest flight plan I could possibly think of. Okay. We have figured out basically about, 75% of our flight times. Okay. That being said, now we've got to figure out our average winds and headings and find our simplified fuel rate. Just for good practice.
Now we're on. Okay, now on that.
Average winds and heading. Okay.
This is starting to make a lot more sense.
Okay.
Garrett, do they typically, give you an alternate in the practical, or just kind of some people they give an alternate, or they
No, they'll always put an alternate.
always
So,
put an alternate? Okay.
yeah, and we're going to get to that point probably tomorrow. Okay. Why don't we take like 10 minutes and eat a sandwich really quick? Yvonne was awesome and brought dinner for everybody.
Okay, so you can
Right?
I did.
Okay.
More of you.
And it's Jimmy Jones. Freaky fast.
Really? Right now. Sorry to get more done, you guys.
If we're taking our, are we taking our little like?
I know.
We're okay. Yeah, we're going to try to keep it as minimum as possible. So.
Okay, I'll just go get some, come right back.
Yep.
Adam is late for his birthday at clap.
Yeah, he's driving from Vegas. So.
I told him that I thought he was gonna be flying here. I wanted to pick him up, but because I got off work.
So do I have to just go into this and download their thing?
I'd rather.
If you want to use that.
Southwest.
Yeah.
I want to use
I'll show you.
I use the other.
Good morning, hello. You as well.
I don't know if you know this, but Chicago's not himself, but.
Oh, I know her already. She's so big inside hope. Never know.
Sorry, I would really love it. That's like.
Okay. All right, so we got to the part where we figure out our average winds. right, and heavy.
Okay, so I need to go to window walk now.
Average winds and headings. And we only do that for what section?
For our,
For our middle cruise.
For
window walk middle,
Oh, the middle of the arm.
or window walk through.
Okay. And you guys remember the route we planned? It's Spain 7 to Rocky 3 to the Spain 7, right? Okay, so Spain 7 to the Rocky. Nope, I got that back.
Yeah, I'm confused where you're getting, oh, the
Spain was
waypoint.
at seven was at
There
seven.
it is.
Like, how are you getting rocky, like, what does that mean?
Huh? Oh, smokes!
Is this the dispatch class?
Down low.
What's going on?
What
Just coming to observe.
You're coming
Sorry, I'm
more than
late.
that.
All right, I'm late. I was hoping to be here a little earlier, but I stuck in stupid Vegas. Traffic, they have 2 lanes shut down on the freeway.
Sounds like one of the excuses.
Boom.
Just kidding, glad you're here.
Still have time to stop at Nashville.
Just kidding. Glad you made it.
So, we've all brought some sandwiches and cookies. Okay, so we need to figure out our winds loft, our winds for our in route section. Figure out our average wind direction, temperature, all that, right? So we use the winds loft chart. Okay, what did we decide were the 2 points we were going to take our measurements from, and at what altitude?
BW.
RKS.
380.
So we're going to take the 2 points that are along our route, right?
Yeah, okay.
For this flight plan, which end up being MBW and RKS, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what altitude?
38,000.
So 38,000
So you have to interpret.
for sanity's sake.
We just do 39 for.
We can run 39. Call it good. Okay. So looking at that, what is our average winds?
So, it would be 250 at 51 knots.
235.
Wait, sorry,
No, sorry.
250 degrees, 51 knots.
235.4, so I think we
Wait, what?
might be around.
So let's figure it out one section at a time.
Okay.
So we're gonna take the average of MBW and RKS for our wind direction. What's our average?
235.
235.
This is where you're minusing them both?
Huh?
This is where you're minusing them both? Wait,
No,
I can't.
average. How do we figure out average?
You add and then divide by 2.
Yep.
Divide that number.
But divide by the number.
So, what, 25 plus 22?
Divide by 2, 23, or 235 is our heading.
I got 360. I got 360 degrees. So you said, so add 25 plus
22.
22, I got that, divide by 2. Oh, never mind.
23 and a half, right?
23
23
and a half.
23 and a half. So 23 and a half, if we put the 0 at the end of the decimal point, that's 235. Okay, 235, 51 knots and 65 knots. What's our average speed? 58. 58 knots, okay. And 10. 65, 64. We'll just call it negative 64. Okay, that's our average winds and temp for our in-route section here. So, what do we do with that?
The phone calculator.
Yeah. So our simplified fuel here, right? Okay.
Oh, no, I've seen that one.
at 58. So you said we go to our E6B?
Nope.
Oh, that's what I was talking about, my bad.
Oh, good.
Oh, wait, yeah, so you wanna take, so what's our average heading for that we're flying?
274.
Okay, with that information, we need to figure out headwind, tailwind, right? Right.
So you have to get your average heading again, you just go off the direct line.
Yeah, so we're just gonna take the average between our 2 points here. Let's go back to Sky Vector and pull that up.
So, take
Oops.
average heading.
Remember, this is specific to this flight line. You're gonna have to take your average heading for your entire course for whatever flight plan you're doing, right? So if that's 10 legs, you gotta do it.
So you gotta do it 10 times for 10
Just-
days.
Yeah,
Okay, so this
so
is-
for however many legs, you gotta figure out your average heading, right?
Okay.
What else can we do, just to kind of speed things up?
Straight.
Right, just do a direct, pull that number, for a simplified, we'll call it good. You good with that?
And so we're getting our headwind.
Okay, so that being said, we come up with 274 for our heading, right? That's pretty close to spot on. Okay, with this information, let's figure out our tailwind or headwind. So is it tail or headwind? What speed, and that way we can get our simplified fuel.
For our true airspeed, we just average top of center.
What was that?
For true airspeed.
400.
Oh, okay.
Everybody got it?
It's gonna be a headwind,
So
right?
repeat that one more.
Headwind of,
Minus 5.
Mine only up only goes to wind speed 50, so.
is that your course correction or is that your headwind?
So, wind speed, and so wind
That's
direction.
Wind correction. So that would be, instead of flying 274, you fly.
269.
Okay.
It's gonna be like 42, 43, something, 43.
I got 33.
Oh, 33?
33. Okay.
So what if, mine doesn't have all the numbers, just goes based off 10, so mine's like 270, 280, 290, so I won't get an accurate reading on my wings calculator.
Going off of, use your E6B one.
So 270, so I would take 274 and 50.
This is your true course. This is your wind direction, wind speed. Those should be the only things you need to figure out here. So what's the difference in speed? So you got 400 knots. Okay, 400 knots. So what is the,
Oh,
what's the difference between 400 knots and
mine
whatever?
might be wrong.
So the ground speed's 353.
353.
47.
Okay, so 47 knot headwind, right?
255.
So you're true
Good?
47.
Okay. With the 47 knot headwind, we come over to our spaghetti chart and we'll figure out real quick our simplified fuel. Okay. Our trip distance was how long? 373? Or 372 point something? Anybody remember that?
373.6.
Okay, 373, so doesn't matter too much, right? As long as we're pretty close here, which just happens to be pretty much right where that line is. Yeah. Oops. Nope. Not on the right track.
Which one?
Okay, simplified fuel.
So, go down one more.
Oh, yeah, because this is the,
Which one am I looking at? There's two the same.
okay, there's three that are the same. So remember, we gotta go off of our trip distance. It's gonna be on the bottom. And that's what we're going to use to determine which chart we're on. So the first one is 100 miles to 500 miles, 500 to 1,000, and then 1,000 to 2. Right? Okay. So we're at 374, so we'll go over to 374-ish, 375, which will be, the solid line is going to be 50, and then each dotted line is going to be 10. So 50, 60, 70, halfway between the two, and we come up to our reference line, right? Okay, from our reference line, we've got a 47 knot headwind, so we follow the contour of these solid rainbow looking lines, right? Okay. Come up to our reference line, down to 47 knots, it's pretty close to that 50, right?
We have a headwind now, so we go the other way.
Oh, that's right, sorry.
Mine.
Headwind, going this way, correct. Okay, headwind, we're coming up here, increasing the distance basically, right? Okay, and we take that up to our flight level. Remember, the bottom line is flight level 370 and above, correct? Okay, what do we do from there?
All to the right.
Pull it to the right to what line?
Reference line.
To the reference line, okay. From the reference line, what is our landing weight? 60,000.
482.
482. So we follow, depending on what altitude we're at. So 370, okay, we're going to follow this Morse code looking line. Flight level 250, we're going to follow the solid line, the contours, right? So if we go from there up 400 pounds, right? So just tiny bit, and then follow that all the way over to the right. That gives us our fuel, which is about what? 3.7-ish.
Yeah.
Okay. So 3,700 pounds, right? Okay, now let's figure out our time really quick. So to figure out our time, what do we do? So if we are drawn on the chart, right, we can just follow our line straight up from our mileage. So come over to our 375, come up to here, correct for our headwind, and then follow it straight up to this line. The top line is 370, the bottom line is 250, right? So we'll follow it up to the 370 line and then tee it out, right? That gives us our time in hours and minutes. Everybody good? Professor? You got that fuzzy in your comments. Or critical.
I don't usually use it for time, but
Right.
might as well.
So this chart is based off of all of the average heading speed and all that stuff.
So this is your estimated fuel plan, right? But we're correcting it for our winds, right? Our average winds in round. So we're just doing a rough estimate here to get us a little bit more in the ballpark, right? So what did you guys get for your time, really quick?
70-ish.
70-ish?
So 7 hours.
So 70 minutes. Okay. Ish. That works for me. Okay. Like Adam said, we don't really need that time so much, but it's just a good little reference point. Okay, so we figured out our whole list here. You guys all copied this down, right?
This here is.
I'm gonna erase it. Going to do it. Everybody's good with this stuff though, right? Everybody can do this in their sleep now.
No.
For some reason, it's all just getting back.
I heard yes from everybody. Huh?
All this is getting back to me a lot easier than it was the previous days.
Yeah. And it does the more you do it. So, that being said, we figured out look how much information we have. We don't need a whole lot more, right? Okay, now we've got to figure out what. So we figured out our simplified fuel. Okay, you guys.
Get your distance.
So we can figure out, we can go one of two routes here, right? So something that we haven't done yet is we haven't figured out our runways, right? So we can do that at the very end, we can do that right now. Really, that can fall in there as long as we've already made sure that we're legal on our runways and we pick the right runway, right? Like if there's a runway noted out, then when we pick our runways or whatever, we just can't pick that runway. But other than that, we've already figured out that we're legal to go. Everything's good to go. So what direction would you guys like to go?
I do pick runways because I'm not sure I did that yet.
Okay, so let's take a look at runways. Okay, Jefferson charts. We're going to pick out runways for Denver and Salt Lake.
So we're going to Denver.
Huh?
Is this Denver? We're on that?
Yes. So we'll start with our departure airport, which is Denver. Okay. So Denver, what chart are we going to go to?
Layout of the airport.
So we can take a quick look and see what runways they have, right? Okay. So they've got 3 5s, they got 3 4s, they got 2 5s, 2 5 and 2 6, and all the reciprocals of those. So that being said, what are you guys thinking?
One quick question is, I did hear you at one time say that if you look at your heading, which I think our heading was 274, and I actually just looked to see if would we align that with like runway 27 if there was one, or I know there's a runway.
So
26.
we can use that. We could
But I don't know if that's like a process.
but what we want to do. So in takeoff, what is ideal?
Winds and runway length.
Yeah, you always want to go with your winds, right? Winds and runway length.
They're all 12. They do have one that's 16.
So picking out our runway isn't going to be super important here, right? We just want to make sure it makes sense. So what is our winds in Denver again?
They're variable 3 knots.
Variable at 3 knots. So let's take off in a heading that kind of spits us out where we want to go, right?
So what is the next step? So simplified flight planning, and what are we doing?
Right now, we are going to pick out our own. So fill out our runway selection chart. I can't remember what step we were on this thing, but
6. Yeah.
okay. So 6, we'll just say pick out our runway. And we're going to use our winds to pick out find.
Is this part of, sorry, I have 6 as simplified fuel.
There we go. Well,
This is kind of just,
so this was 5 was simplified flight plan,
okay,
and remember we have all those tick marks underneath it. So 6 is like simplified is step 5
okay,
ish.
with the fuel as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
So simplified flight planning, we just do a quick correct everything for our winds and temperatures and all that stuff. Anyways, okay, so we'll use our winds to find our runway. And in this case, at Denver, what runway do you guys want to use?
Let's use,
3-4 left is 16,000 feet,
Okay,
has all the bells and whistles.
and okay, so 3-4 left, anybody disagree?
I agree.
Okay. The winds are kind of coming almost a direct crosswind, right? But, or they're variable at 3, so we're really good with anything. So 3-4 left is the one you want. Okay, let's check out our NOTAMs really quick. Oops. Just make sure 3-4 left's really good.
So, I think on this one, our notice we selected, or there was 5 concerns to us that we highlighted. Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay, so what was our estimated time of departure?
21:36.
Okay, so does that NOTAM affect runway 34 left at our ETD?
I got that as my estimate for arrival.
2025
Oh,
is
yep, that was
departure.
right, sorry.
Okay, 2025, does that NOTAM affect our ETD?
No.
No. So is it a usable runway?
Yes.
Do the winds favor it?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, we should stay with it.
We could choose any runway at this point, right? Okay, 3-4 left, let's go with it. Okay, 3-4 left. Okay, Salt Lake City. Let's do the same thing to Salt Lake City. What runways do we have at Salt Lake?
34 left, right, and center. Sorry, 34 left and right, and 35. And 16 left, right. 16 left and right, and 17.
Okay. So, what were our winds at Salt Lake?
They were 100 at 12 knots. So
100 at 12.
I would be in favor of 3-4 right because it's closer to 100 degrees.
Is it?
Wait,
Closer than 1.6 would be.
sorry, wait. Hold on, I gotta think. So 3-4, 3-5, 3-8.
Plus 100.
170 at 10 knots, so 1.6 left.
Yeah, 1-6 left. Yeah, 1-6.
Wait, our winds are 170?
100.
100. That
That's
makes
69.
16 rounds. but-
Or 3 different.
Oh, local weather service on the TAF.
Okay. You're supposed to be on the TAF.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's 170 at 10.
Okay, the TAF is 170 at 10? Oh, okay.
So
You guys
1.6
do
is
it.
just about right.
Okay. That's right. 170 at 10. What was our 10? Oh, we don't. Okay.
So 1.6 left.
Okay, so 1-6 left or right? Does it matter too much? Not too much, right? As long as we don't have a NOTAM, right? So let's check our NOTAMs. Salt Lake City, do we have any NOTAMs for runway?
No.
1.6 left or right? Okay, so at your discretion. Okay. 16 left, 16 right, doesn't matter what you put.
So for the step under winds to find, oh, and that's the same step.
So why are we doing 16 left, because it's closest to 170?
Yeah, so we want to, yeah, our winds favor the 1.6s, right?
Yeah, I get that, that's on this.
Okay. So,
So 160 is coming this way.
okay,
Right, just out.
so this is 180,
Think of it the opposite direction.
and this is 360 or 0 degrees, right? Okay. Now, when we look at our windsock or winds, when it's reporting 170 at 10 knots, what direction is our wind going? From what direction to what direction?
Coming from the south
yeah,
to the north,
It's, yeah,
not quite south.
it's coming from,
From 170, right?
Okay. From 170
Going.
so it's blowing
to
north.
350, right?
Okay.
Is everybody good with that? So that's our wind direction, right?
Mhm.
17 to 35. Okay, so our runway is 1.6, so it's like our runway is sitting like this, right? So we've got 1.6. Let's see if I can do this. 1.6, left or right, okay? And we've got 3-4, right. We got reciprocal, right? Okay, so we always want to land with a headwind. So what runway direction favors
16.
16?
And we're just picking 16 over runway 17 just because
There is a
Just along
seventeen.
There's a 17.
Oh, is there?
Yep.
17's the military.
17 shorter, like.
So
doesn't
17,
have to follow
just-
whatever.
so
Well, I was the reason why you use 16. Well, one, because it's a longer length runway, and I think that runway is generally used for small aircraft.
yeah, so just our terminal, I don't know. There's not a right or wrong answer necessarily to this. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to pick a runway. Air traffic control is going to tell them to land on whatever runway they're landing on at the time that they get there, right? The winds may shift and they may land on 3-4 left. You know, it just depends. But for planning purposes, we want to do something that makes sense according to our winds. Okay, not a wrong answer. I'll just say that right now. But I grew up right next to the airport. Okay, our main terminal sits between 16 left and 16 right. Right? And this is our general aviation side. You can see general aviation, Air National Guard. I know that they prefer the 1.6.
And
the 3-4.
6,000 feet longer.
Yeah, and it's a longer runway. So, can they land on 1.7 all day long? Okay. They land KC-135s on 1.7 all the time. Takeoff, land.
Has better lighting, works lighting.
Yeah. Our Cat 2, we've got our ALSIF 2 lighting. So we know that it's really good light on top of that. Just looking at that chart, right? The other one just has our Mausers, right? Okay. That being said, we chose 1.6 left or right, or 1.7, whatever you guys want to do. And we verified, are there any NOTAMs?
No.
Okay, for the appropriate runway that you chose, what do we have to do with that information?
You would have to look at your ILS charts for that runway and
Okay.
determine if you can land based off of your minimums.
Okay, so we're going to use this form, right chair. Oops, not that.
Was that wrong?
No. Okay.
That's over there, sorry.
No, I was just trying to. Okay. So we're gonna fill out this chart with that information, right? Okay, departure airport. Okay, Dan. What was our time of departure?
2025.
What does it say, 2025?
Okay, weather.
One
Remember, we care about what? Winds.
variable at 3.
Okay. No. Okay. What's the sky cover?
10 statute miles.
Sky condition.
This 10 statute miles.
So our viz is 10 statute miles
Mhm.
and sky condition.
U 100 broken 250.
250 and our temperature dew point.
18 slash minus 05.
And our altimeter.
2991.
Okay.
What's the altimeter?
2991. Okay. And for this, we chose runway. What?
3-4 left.
Okay. Standard takeoff minimums.
Did you figure that out already?
Okay. This is where we need to go to our charts.
It's up top.
What? Okay. Our standard takeoff minimums are on what chart?
On the night, no. Sorry, hold on. 1, 2, 3. They are on the night 10, 9A.
Yep, 10-9 alpha. Okay. For our takeoff, it's 10-9 alpha. Okay. We are on what runway? So what chart do we use? What runway?
34 left.
3-4 left. So we're going to use the 3-4 left takeoff minimums chart, right? That one right there. Okay. Everybody have it pulled up on their computers? Okay.
So use this chart for our minimums.
Yes, for our takeoff minimums. Okay, so that being said, what is our standard takeoff minimums? What section do we use for our standard takeoff minimums?
We use
STD.
Yep, STD, 1 and 2 engines.
Now, are we on Denver or Salt Lake?
Denver.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, I'm in Salt
I
Lake.
clicked Salt Lake.
I'm trying to find it on here.
Okay.
We're in different airports.
Denver, it's still going to be the 10-9, the 10-9 alpha chart, right?
And so you said we use our standard what? One of this chart.
Okay, so standard, our 10-9 chart, and we're going to use runway 3-4 left, right? Okay, and we're going to use standard 1 and 2 engines.
Oh,
5,000 or 1 mile.
so you're always gonna add 2 zeros to your RDR when we
Yeah.
look at those charts.
So 5,000. Yeah, Matt. So 5,000 for 1 mile, right? Okay. Oops. Okay. Less than standard RVR?
1,600 or a quarter.
Okay. That's our adequate visual reference, right? So 1,600, basically, because it's asking for the RVR right here. Okay. So visibility, 1/4. Okay. Touchdown zone. So our RVR, there's a touchdown zone, mid, and rollout.
Are those the 2 columns right there?
Yeah.
Is that
Is that 3? Okay. We don't have a HUD, so
oh, sorry.
no, you're fine. So we've got this, the center line and
Yeah, we've got
hurls, right?
500.
So 500s across the board.
Oh, I see where you're going. I was confused where you were getting the touchdown zone, but it says that in the box.
And we all know that that means 500, 500, 500, right?
What would you label this this chart as, or this piece of paper that we're filling? What's this one called?
I should say that.
To the top.
Takeoff destination alternate requirements form. Oops. Okay. So we've got Denver filled out. So let's go over, we don't have any alternates, right? So our departure alternate, our takeoff alternate, we would use this box, and our destination alternate would use this box. Okay. KSLC. What was our ETA that we figured out?
2136.
What was that?
2136.
So 2136. Okay. And our weather. Starting at the winds.
170 at 10 knots.
Okay. Visibility.
It's P6 statute miles,
Okay.
and then it's DCSH.
What does that mean?
Showers in the vicinity.
Showers in the vicinity. Okay. Sky condition.
Scattered at 6,000. 060. Broken at 9,000. 090. Temperature is 13. Dew point is 8. Altimeter setting is 2976.
Oops. Okay. All right. What flap setting do we always land at?
45.
Yeah. Okay. What runway?
16 left.
Okay.
So where'd you get the shower in the vicinity from?
So you have to take some off of the tap, and then some, you have to take the temperature and the altimeter reading off the meter.
Okay. Headwind or tailwind?
Headwind.
Okay. Instrument approach. Okay. What's the localizer ident frequency? So this one we're actually looking at what?
I think the airport.
The approach plate.
The approach
At
plate.
the top.
Okay. So we go over to Salt Lake City really quick. So we're looking at 16 left, right?
Mhm.
Okay. ILS localizer 16 left. Okay. Our frequency is what?
109.5 was it?
Okay. Visibility.
6 echelon.
What?
No,
It's off your approach plate.
Oh,
it might be 200.5. I picked a different runway, so.
What does our approach plate require for visibility? 200.5, right?
for NOTAMs.
So that's our visibility and ceiling. Our visibility is 1/2, but. Okay. And do we have any NOTAMs?
No.
Okay.
You didn't see the blanket.
That being said, are you sure there's not a lighting NOTAM? Okay. I didn't see any runway lighting NOTAMs, right?
Is the examiner gonna care, like, if there's no NOTAMs, is he gonna care if we don't put anything in the notice box, or do we just put?
He's probably going to beat you up. I don't know.
We'll probably have a moment.
Like, I don't care if you fill it all.
Probably not even gonna look at this sheet.
That's what you were saying, unless you mentioned you probably won't.
Yeah. This is pretty much for reference only, right? Okay. So we figured all that out. Now what do we got to figure out?
Our takeoff and landing speed.
So we've already figured out a lot of this, right? So we go from this to the IFR flight plan, right? Now we got everything figured out up to now. We've got our fuel, we've got our top of climb, top of descent, right? So we got to figure out where. So we've populated it with our top of climb and our top of descent, right? Our KDEN, we just transferred over all the information that we wrote down when we did our top of climb. And then we wrote down on the bottom here all the information for our descent. Right?
This would be our next step, right?
So our next step is the IFR flight plan. Okay. That being said, our IFR flight plan we've already figured out 2 of our points. Okay. Remember this whole thing?
This is what
Okay. Okay, this is our top of climb, top of descent. Okay. We know that the center here is the end of our SID and the beginning of our start, right? Does that mean that's where our top of climb and top of descent are?
No.
No. Okay. That being said, What did we do last time to figure out how much space is left between the two? Because we know it's pretty close, right? We just took our two mileages here. 163, 105. We added 105.3. What did that give us?
268.4.
268.4. Okay, 268.4. We could take our 373 miles. Okay, 373, and it ended up being like 105, right? We know that between here and here, we've got 105 miles that we gotta cover. Okay. So our next point was top of climb to top of descent. We figured out that that's all on our load chart.
So the 26, where'd you get the 363 again? You got it from the, let's see,
Our total distance, right?
okay.
That's the total distance. Now, don't do this for every flight plan. This is just because we know it's super short and we know there's a really small segment left, right?
Because so really we're just paying attention to the 268.4 part.
No. No, we're just figuring out, just for kicks and giggles, this was more just me and my brain, figuring out the distance between the 2 points, okay? I wanted to know that because I wanted to kind of figure out how many legs I'm gonna need for this flight, right?
Okay.
What's my comfort zone? What's our comfort zone on our legs? Yeah, like 150, 250, somewhere in there. That's where we like to be.
For each
Anything past that, anything further, we start getting watered down, right? It's not as accurate data. Everybody good?
So on our practical, or is the jet route and the Victor route gonna be on the same map?
We got high charts and low charts.
Okay.
Remember, we pulled these out last time, so let's pull these out really quick, just so you guys can see these.
So if we did have more than one leg, or it wasn't so short, our in-route section, how would we figure out the distance?
What was that?
If this leg was longer, that in-route leg,
Mhm.
and we needed to break it up in, let's say, 2 or 3 legs, how would we figure out the distance?
So what we're always gonna do is we're gonna figure out, our distance, top of climb, was 163.1. So we'd find this, okay, we'd find where that is. We're gonna find where that is exactly on here. How are we gonna do that? We're gonna look at our SID, right? Count up our miles, and that's gonna give us a waypoint. We're gonna be between this point and this point, right? And I believe we found out that it's between these 2 points right here.
And so the part where you got 105, is that when we start descending from our?
No. No, that's this leg here. Okay, 105, this one's 105.3, right? We add these three up, we get 373, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Something like that, it's gonna be, 373.4. Okay,
His question is where that map comes in.
remember, these maps are identical to what you see on Skydiver. So I don't want to spend too much time on this part of it.
Because if we're on a high chart, then we have to go and get a different chart to find the Victor route.
Right. But hopefully you won't have to even pull out a low chart. So everybody come take a look.
So if we had a bunch of in-route sections,
Yeah.
I would just use that.
Okay, I want you guys to look at this really quick. This is how you're gonna determine what maps you're gonna use, right? You know, H3 is Salt Lake City. H3 is this side of the map. So as we unfold it, we want to be looking at this side. H4 would be the reverse side, right? Okay, same thing with our low charts. Okay, Salt Lake City is right there. We know it's on L9 and L11. Okay, L9 is our chart here. We're gonna open up our map like this. L9 is this side, so we'll open up our map. And voila. Salt Lake City. Okay, and here's our Victor 200 route, or Victor 200 airway, right? Which we found out is going to be, so we know Denver's over here on the other map, right? And we know that between, can't remember where we figured it out, but between one of our points here, and then it was somewhere like,
I think we have Spain and Rocky 3 and 4.
well, those are our SIDS and stars, but Spain is
What DOR did they meet up at?
meeker. Both of them ended. That's the transition point for both. Okay, so meeker. So if we go, well, hold on. So this is our Victor route, right? That we're using. This is where Spain 7 comes out. So we go, what is that? 35 total miles between Wasatch and Provo. 35 plus 10 plus 16, so 35, 45, 61, and then 58, 61, that's 100. So it's gonna be like right here is our top of descent. And then Denver, we have to add them up and get our,
Just remember, the ones that are probably easier to use, when you're starting in Denver, you want to use the SID. Because the SID will have the distances. So go to the very end of the SID, whatever distance that is. And in some cases, your top of climb will actually end on the SID. You'll still be on the SID.
So you mean very end of the SID, is it showing here, or do you mean from the?
So-
It won't show it on here, but
Like-
bring up Denver.
Yeah.
The approach plate.
so we'll use, no, not approach plate, the SID.
The SID. Yeah, so he's gonna bring up the SID, but just go to Denver and just let's add it up, going all the way up.
Yeah.
So, were you saying that we probably will not have to use the low chart for practical? Just the high charts?
Probably not. I think most of his
Depends,
routes.
I mean, you may or may not, but they're both the same though, as far as how you use them, it's just.
I just don't want to have to switch over like this.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
if you had to use a low chart, it would just be for one little tiny
One
portion,
lane.
that would be it. It wouldn't even be, you wouldn't use the low chart for the entire route, if that makes sense. You don't, the only time you ever need the low chart is just where you absolutely have no other option. And like if you were to use a jet route and you had to like go like backtrack just to get on one or something like that, or like go totally sideways to get on one. Sometimes you can find a little Victor route that will connect you over to a different VOR that connects to one. That's the only reason you would ever use a Victor route though.
And remember, when we looked at the world high, we weren't on any jet route, right? Absolutely no jet routes. So we just did a quick look at our world low, and it just happens that
The big thing,
We're
I
on
think,
a Victor route.
I think the big issue on this plan is that your transition points are the same.
Yeah.
Okay, you never actually get onto a jet route or a Victor route on this
Right.
plan because your SID meets your star. Therefore, there's no need to ever even get on a jet route.
right.
If they didn't, could we use jet routes or Victor routes? Or?
When your SID, so this is like just a totally unique plan here because any other time, in order to connect your SID and your star, you have to use either a jet or a Victor route. That's kind of the rule for the class.
It doesn't really matter which we use, we can use.
Preferably jet.
Okay.
Yeah, the only time you should ever use a Victor route is if you have no other option. Like if it's if it's like, in order to use a jet route, like you're gonna know, just like that one that we started the other day, the, San Diego to Portland, we got to Seal Beach, and there was no real, actually, there may have been an option, but I can't remember, but if we couldn't use a jet route off of Seal Beach, because none of them went north, they all went sideways.
That's why we went up to LA.
That's why we went up to LA and then got on a different one. Now, that one I think still had a jet route, but it's a similar idea, like we had to connect over to a different VOR to get on the jet route that we wanted. In some cases, that's gonna be a Victor route that you have to use, but if you're having to use a Victor route for more than, say, 20 to 50 miles, that's honestly, it should really never happen. You should never have to do that.
Right. Remember our service volumes, right? The reason why we want a jet route. Okay, service volumes, 120 versus 40, right? So jet routes are a lot longer point to point. And so it's like a freeway, right? And we're going really fast, so we want to use a jet route. It's a lot faster to travel on the freeway than it is side streets, right? Think of them, that's how I think of them. Victor routes, side streets, jet routes are your freeways. Okay. Now we've got our Victor route pulled up. Here's Meeker, our transition point. Sorry, I couldn't rotate it. Okay. So let's add up our distances really quick. What were our distances? Looking at your chart here. Somebody read off distances. Okay, of course.
First one's 48.2.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
35.9 is the next one.
Okay.
68.4. That's it, right?
Okay. So he's finding those numbers right here. These are your segment miles, right? So from the, is that Denver?
Denver VOR.
That is the Denver VOR. Okay. Denver VOR to the Zimmer waypoint right here is 48.2 miles. From Zimmer to Kremling, it's 35.9 miles, and then from Kremling to Meeker, 68.9. Okay. Okay. Now, let's add these up really quick. And what's that total?
152.5.
What was it?
152.5.
Okay. 152.5. Our top of climb, 163.1. So our top of climb actually ends up over just 10 miles about past Meeker. So we just take 163.1, subtract our 152.5. That gives us what?
8.6. That's not on a calculator.
I don't know.
52.5. Oh, 10.6. Sorry.
So 10.6. Okay, 10.6 miles past Meeker, right? Okay.
One thing that you guys are gonna see here too is that your top of climb and your top of descent, they're always just gonna be out in space. You know, they're never gonna be on a VOR, on an intersection. So we don't care where they're at. We just wanna know relative to like our nearest intersection or nearest VOR, okay? And that's just because when we look up the top of climb here, we get an exact distance. We know that our aircraft performance in order to climb all the way up to 38,000 feet, it's gonna take 163.1 miles. So we have to follow our route, and obviously that's gonna, be wherever it's at. We don't, like I said, we don't necessarily care where it's at, we just have to know the distance. And then you just need to know the distance between your top of climb and your top of descent. Okay, so that's kind of what he was showing you earlier with that, you fill in the gap type thing. You figure out your top of climb, you figure out your top of descent, and then you connect the two. Kind of like when you're building the route. In this case, distance-wise, you're now to the point like where you're cutting up the route to figure out how you're gonna do the segments, because you have your top of climb segment, top of descent segment, and now in between that, you want to figure out how many am I going to need. It's only 105 miles total between those 2 points, so it really wouldn't need more than just one segment. And it's generally speaking the same direction. So, this is a pretty easy plan on this one.
Yeah. And I did this one because this was our first one, or our second one, and I was trying to get it to where you guys could easily figure it out. This one's supposed to be really quick. Okay.
Look, it's like dad down.
So, okay. That being said, let's hurry and figure out our top of descent super fast. Okay. Somebody read off my distances here.
So from Meeker to Racer, so 44.2.
So that's 44.2 to that.
Yeah, so 44.2 is your first one, then 57.3, then 50, then 15.4, then 15.5, and 4.5, and 10, 12, and
See you on that one.
Yeah, that last one.
14.3.
Oh,
Nice.
how come that one is not bold? The 14.3?
So that's direct from the airport
Oh, okay,
to Chip,
I see.
right?
yeah, so that next one is technically 36.3, but
That's going.
all the way to Ogden. But that's the thing. So when you plan a SID or a star, but especially on a star where you're coming into the airport, the thing about the way this is kind of showing up here is that it's. Now you guys know you're landing south, right? Because you picked 16 left.
Yeah.
So so here's the airport. This SID and this star is both for landing. You can land on the 3-4s or the 16s with this. So as you come here, it's giving you all this different information as you come along here. So like, see that this box right here says landing north, expect ILS 3-4 right approach. The thing is if you're landing north, they're usually going to turn you right here because you're already lined up. Does that make sense? Kind of seeing this here. So like when you plan a SID and a star, regardless of what direction you're landing, we always plan the entire thing, like as if you have to go all the way up, turn around, and come back down. Although in a lot of cases, like if you end up landing north, then you really don't end up flying that much. But in this case, yeah, 36.3 is all the way to Ogden. And then they just know it kind of stops drawing in here because they know that at some point along here, once you pass this, they're going to just give you vectors and they're just going to turn you around and have you come back and land. They rarely are going to have you go all the way to Ogden and then turn around. But just in case you have to, for traffic or whatever reasons, we plan it as if you go all the way and then turn around. And that's even if you're landing north, which is going to be significantly less distance. So.
Okay. So let's add these up to get to our 105.3. So 36.3 plus 12. gives us 48.3. Okay, at our 10, 58.3, 4.5, that's 62.8. 15.5, what does that give us? 62.8 plus 15.
78.3,
78.3. Okay, now 15.4,
93.7,
93.7. We're almost there, 50 miles.
143.7.
143.7. Okay, that being said, we know that our top of descent is between these 2 points, which if we look at here, 15.5 to our 15.4, that's going to give us, 15.4 to our 50 miles, that's going to give us between Thistle and Mighton. Okay? So, between THISL and Mighton, MTU. Okay, MTU. Okay, so let's find that exact point really quick. How many miles past Thistle is it going to be? Huh? About 11.6. 11.6. Okay, 11.6 past Thistle. Or 11.6 to Thistle, right?
Excuse me.
Huh?
No, it's not excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because you're working backwards, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be, so your top of descent will be right in here.
11.6. About 40.
Yeah. This one. And then your top of climb was right here. Because that's Meeker. Right on the edge of the map is Meeker. Your top of climb was 10 miles after Meeker. So top of climb here, top of descent right here. So just this little portion right here is the only en route part.
Okay,
So it's 100.
That's 105 miles.
Around 500 miles.
It's a lot shorter.
Anybody like any drinks?
so it's actually
Not the scale.
I'm sorry, can you explain the THSL?
THISL is the intersection, or the waypoint. So 11.6 miles prior to Thistle, before Thistle. That's our top of descent.
Okay.
Okay, that being said, we've got our en route. We've got our top of descent, top of climb, we've got our en route. We know how far we gotta go. And like Adam said, we know that it's 10 miles, what is it, 10.6 miles after this. So if we take 10.6 off of this, what does that give us? So with the extra mileage of going around, remember, when we file on SkyVector, it's like direct point to point, right? So 10.6 miles after this, that gives us 33.6. Okay, so 33.6 plus 57. Point 3 plus 11.6 minus 50 minus 11.6 gives us 38.4. 38.4. This is how long our en route segment is. So somebody add that up. 10, 13.
Adding up all the numbers kind of got me a little lost, so, I just got lost in the numbers, so.
129.3.
Oh, 120. Oh, my bad. 120.
Okay, so when you're putting the 33.6, you're pointing towards 57.3, that's where I got lost. how did you start doing the 50?
The thing is, the big thing here is disregard all those numbers. There's only two numbers you care about here. What's the distance of your top of climb? Okay, that's the only thing you care about for 163.1. Okay, what's the distance of your top of descent? 105.3. Okay, you know the total distance because you got it earlier, that 373. Just take your 373 and minus your distance from your top of climb and your top of descent right off of that number, and that's going to give you the number you want. So that's the much easier way of doing it.
The reason we're doing it this way is just in case we had more legs.
The reason, what he is doing right there is that the problem is when you're trying to figure out where these points are, when you're trying to figure this out, you have to bring up this star, in this case, this is the star, and it's not giving us a total distance, right? It's giving us, you have to go in and add these all up, all these little individual things. All you're really trying to do is figure out where it is on the map. But the big thing about this is that you don't really care. It's not necessarily important to know exactly where your top of descent and top of climb are. The only thing you really need to know is what the distance is. Like, so, I mean, for relative purposes, it's nice to know that, okay, well, it's 10 miles after Meeker, just to kind of put it in your head so you know kind of where it's at, like top of climb. So somewhere right in here, I'm going to reach 38,000 feet. I'm going to stay at 38,000 feet until about right here, and then I'm going to start descending. That's all it is. It's just to kind of put it kind of in your head. But you don't necessarily have to know where those are at, as long as you know your distances.
Yeah.
So you
The reason why you want to know about where it's at is because we need to know where the start of our leg is. So if we didn't end right at the star, we'd want to know, okay, from about Thistle, or that next leg, going this way, from about 10 miles after Meeker until we get to, let's say, the next waypoint's Wasatch VOR because we're going up to Boise. Whatever it is.
So it would be more relevant in a more complex, longer flight plan.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this flight plan is
It's so short.
It's tough to, it actually makes this harder because of this flight plan. But like, when we do other ones and you see like a big 600-mile one that we do or something, and then you've got, instead of only having 100 miles of en route, like you have 400 or 500 miles of en route, and we're going to have 2 or 3 segments in those, that are all going to be individually calculated. That's a little bit easier to see it, and that's kind of where it's a little bit better to know, where things are. Where's my top of climb? You just want to know, and like he's saying, it's like if your top of climb is, you just want to know where it is in relation to like the nearest VOR. Okay. And it might be 50 miles away, but the only reason you want to know that is because like if that VOR is on your star, or let's say it's your transition point for your star, you just want to know, because your top of climb and your top of descent are technically are 2 of your segments. So they represent a segment, like a start or an end to a segment. So you need to know where to connect to them. So you just need to know, just for your own measuring purposes, where they are relative to a VOR along your route. Just so that, okay, well, I'm going to this VOR, because you're going to be given a distance on the map. It's like from this VOR to that VOR is 120. But I know that my top of climb is technically 50 miles before that VOR, so you're going to take that 120 and minus 50, because we'll know that that's the only reason you need to know.
I think we can use those VFR references in our flight plan as references as legs. Where now we're using top of climb and top of descent, that could be, a VOR to VOR on some around leg, right?
Yeah, and the only reason you see it like this is because it's just so short.
Yeah.
So you, going back to, so you take the total minus?
Total distance minus off your top of climb and your top of descent. And that's gonna give you the mileage of your en route section. And then that's where you're working with these other numbers.
total distance minus top of climb, top of descent.
Yeah.
What was our number here?
163.1.
So this one is for, okay. All right. Okay, so now we know that we've got our legs here, right? Top of climb, top of descent, right? We can get a little more particular here. We can do, EKR to Thistle. Whatever you guys want to do there. But it is top of climb to top of descent, basically. Okay? Just depends. You can put either one there, basically. Right? Okay. That being said, we know that we're on Victor 200, correct? Looking at this. You stay on Victor from Meeker to Mighton, right? So Thistle's somewhere like right here. But for the most part, we're going to stay on Victor 200. Okay.
So we switched charts then from once we got.
From high to low.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, we had, this is on the low chart because, them connecting, it's so short. In that case, we're going to stay on the low chart, basically. Okay. So our flight level is 380. Now we need to figure out our performance. Okay. Just really quick, thinking about our top of climb, top of descent. Okay, top of climb, do we figure out winds, ISA deviation for our climb? We do?
Our
No.
ISA?
So we already figure out our ISA deviation, right? So we use the ISA plus 15 chart, right? So we could put that in there. That's not going to hurt anything. But we don't use winds. Like our winds aren't going to affect us on our climb or descent, right? So that being said, our ground speed will match our true airspeed here, 387.
I already got a bunch of numbers in a lot of the boxes. So how is it that we're like? Didn't we already do this? And now I have different waypoints on my chart now.
Well, so I'll keep this the same.
He's saying you could use either one.
Tomato here.
Okay, so this, what we did before, is not incorrect.
No.
Okay.
But with the magnetic
That's
course,
why I
could you
think
put
looking at two different-
274?
What was
Or
that?
no? So with the magnetic course, can you use the 274 or no?
So yeah, we'd use our magnetic course just off of our SID here. So our magnetic course, we can even just pull it off with Sky Vector here.
I was thinking it was 274.
So top of climb is 25 minutes, about 5 minutes before top of climb we're required to start efforts.
Yes.
Corey's messing with me, I thought he was asking me some questions.
How's your first mistake?
So I just get nervous about like if we will have more connecting points, and it seemed like it took us so long just to get the information.
Remember, this is like flight plan number 2.
Okay.
We're supposed to be
I'm just like,
a little further ahead than this,
like,
but
we're supposed to be like
right.
5 maybe?
But but we'll get there. We'll make sure
Okay.
you guys get there. Okay. So I'm just going to pull an average heading here, 267. Let's call it 267. Just let's get done with this one.
Absolutely.
Fill in those boxes, like on the practical, what do you expect that we do, or
Window?
No, I mean,
Because we really don't need to, do we? Like,
it's
I
not
mean, as
essential.
long as you're coming up with the right wind or the right fuel
Thank you.
and distance, that's all that really matters. The
Okay, that seems a lot
Oops.
easier.
magnetic course,
We do need some of those numbers.
well, yes, like on the magnetic, or sorry, on the top of climb, the top of climb and the top of descent, those calculations, we don't use wind. So whatever the heading is of what your heading is going to be both your magnetic course and your magnetic heading. So there's not going to be any variance of like a wind correction angle. So he's just basically copying those numbers over. So the true airspeed, because there's no wind, your true airspeed will literally be your ground speed. And your heading will be your heading and your course. So he's just kind of copying those. So you don't, if you know one of them, if you know which one is which, or if you, I could usually just do what he does, just copying them in on both sides. But they're a lot easier to calculate when you go to the charts because you're not compensating for the wind at all. So I don't know if that answers the question or not.
Okay, so we figured out our top of climb, all the information's populated, right? We know our top of descent, right? Oops. Okay. It's going to be nope, not there. Okay, 281 is our general heading there. We'll just pull that. Everybody good?
What's even probably easier just to do on those? And so instead of even erasing all the stuff like that, for your heading on the heading that you have on magnetic course and magnetic heading for the top of climb and top of descent, they're really not, they're not providing you any information. Okay,
Right.
In this case, it's really just filling a box. So if you didn't even, like if you wanted to leave those boxes blank on those two, you could, because it's not anything you need. Because you use those on the, when you do the en route portion, you're using those numbers to calculate your ground speed. But because your true airspeed is your ground speed on those two, you technically don't need those other numbers in there. It's just, he's just putting in a relative average heading just to fill up the box, and that's about it.
And it's more for you guys to understand that there is no difference. So when you go back and watch this video, so you guys understand that there is no difference. There's no wind correction, no change in ground speed on your descent and your climb. That's the only reason why I'm filling these out.
The compass and heading.
Between your magnetic course and your magnetic heading, or your true airspeed and your ground speed. Those are all factored into our performance chart. Okay. So let's go to our performance chart for this 129.3 mile segment. Okay.
One thing, hey, on this one,
Yeah.
I'm not sure where the math is not adding up on this, but
It's that extra 36. It's Sky Vector going direct, right?
well, that's what I wanted to see what it shows when you put in the Spain 7. Does it not?
No, it says 373 point. So
So zoom in on Salt Lake right there.
it just has us going direct to the airport.
Bring up the nav log. So just direct from Fairfield, huh?
Yeah. So it's as if we were landing at 3-4. See the mileage difference?
Yeah.
So realistically, we're gonna have to go north around the airport towards Ogden and then land towards the south.
That's, yeah, we're planning that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we plan it should, like, if it was using the SID or the star correctly, it would go all the way up to Ogden and add it in. But it's not, fuel wise it does it that way, but distance wise it does not, if that makes sense. It's really kind of a weird thing. Now for an approach, it doesn't really make any difference because, I mean, you can probably tell, like, when you're in an airplane descending, from the point you get to the top of descent, so clear down there by the Night and VOR or whatever, they totally pull back the throttles. I mean, what's the total burn for top of descent?
358.
Yeah, you're burning 358 pounds from that point forward. So even if you did have to go up to Ogden and turn around, you're still on way low power setting. You might burn another 75, 80 pounds. So it's not really going to change much. It's just the way it's calculating distance versus fuel is all.
Okay.
So really that's, that's the reason I was wondering why you came up with 129, but it's really 105.
105 is kind of what we were planning on, but yeah.
Okay.
But whereas we added up the actual numbers off the SID and star,
Yeah.
our actual distance would be like 129.3, going all the way up to Ogden and back. Okay. So we'll just do 105 for this segment distance. So 373. This one will do 105. We already know those two numbers, right? Okay, so let's figure out our performance. So what chart do we use?
We need to figure out ISO still.
Right, so we need to figure out our ISA en route. So
ISA cruise.
we already figured that out.
I just want to make sure that I'm not forgetting to write down any steps. So we're on our Ifr Flight Plan step.
582. I don't know, I haven't measured.
I just roll here, I just go if it's warmer.
I'm just gonna go for it.
That's why I get lost in the don't know exactly the steps.
My ice is messed up.
I don't know what to say there.
We can figure it out.
Really, I guess, haven't done that much since I was down the west.
Because you need this.
Yeah.
So you have negative 63, right?
Yeah, we basically just talked about
63.
these two legs. So, find distance.
Is that on step 6?
Yes. Well, we're still in the actual flight plan, right? So find distance from top of climb, or from departure to top of climb, and from top of descent to our destination. Find those points on the map. Okay, on map, plan legs, How about that? So we, on a bigger route, we're gonna plan how many legs there are, what are gonna be our distances between our legs. So we go like VOR to VOR and figure out how many legs total that's gonna be. And just kind of figure, we just write down on our IFR flight plan, we would just write down like this VOR to this VOR, this VOR to this VOR, this VOR to this
That's
VOR.
just connecting.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so we haven't really done anything else.
Okay. And
Too
what
much.
You just wrote down or on that step.
Okay. So we already wrote down our temperature, right? Our average winds and temperature. So for this leg, we know that our average temperature is going to be negative 64, right? Okay. And we use 39,000 feet for that. You guys can interpolate your chart. I'm just going to stick to negative 64. Okay. So we've got to find what at 38,000 feet? ISA at 38. So to find ISA at 38,000 feet, what do we do again? Walk me through it, Greg.
Times 2.
So we got 38,000 feet here. Move that decimal over 3 spots. So we have 38, multiply that by 2. That gives us 76, okay? Now we take our standard temperature of 15 degrees and we subtract our corrected temperature for altitude, which is 61, right? Negative 61? Okay. Okay, negative 61, and we've got an actual, so let's find our deviation. So ISA at 38,000 feet is 61 degrees. What is our deviation from ISA? Got negative 61 here, negative 64 here. Choose our number line again. Okay, are we moving to the left or right from ISA? Left. Is that a decrease or an increase? So ISA minus 3. Okay, ISA minus 3. For the sake of our performance chart, what is the chart we're going to use?
ISA.
ISA.
Yeah, right at ISA.
ISA.
Yeah.
So it goes 65.
That's right, warmer. I always go warmer. Okay. So we're going to use the ISA chart.
The 64 that you got was on the wind aloft.
Yes, we just averaged our winds aloft for our en route segment. Okay. So let's go back to our chart really quick here, or our IFR flight plan. Okay. Let's do this math really quick just to figure out what weight we're going to use. So 64,215 minus 2388. Excuse me.
61,827.
Okay, 61,827. So we're going to use 61,827 pounds. We're going to round that to 62. Okay, 62,000 pounds. What flight level?
38.
38,000. Okay. These 2 boxes. Find me my average. And what are we worried about? For the sake of our own sanity.
Fuel and,
Our top of climate change.
that's a climb chart.
Oh, that's our problem. My bad.
Yeah, I like this.
See, you gotta be careful. I was wondering why that looked wrong.
Now, this is the one where we only need like 2 of the numbers. Is that what you
Yeah.
told me on?
Mhm.
So So if you got ISA negative, ISA minus 3, then you would use the ISA minus 5.
No, we already decided this. ISA, right? We always want to go warmer. So ISA minus 3. What's warm? What would be the next warmer chart?
Plus 5.
No,
Is it over 0?
ISA. Just ISA. Yep. So we've got ISA minus 10 is our coldest chart. Then we go to ISA. Then we go to ISA plus 5, ISA plus 10, ISA plus 15, ISA plus 20. Okay. So that's the different charts we have. So ISA, and we're going to use what 2 boxes? 62,000 pounds. 380. Okay, so what numbers are we concerned about?
Just the top 4.
No, the fuel and the airspeed.
Just fuel and airspeed.
Just two.
So we don't care about our N1, percent of N1. We don't care about our Mach speed. We don't care about our, what is that, pounds, man pounds? I don't know what that is, actually. What is that?
What?
Nautical miles per pound? No, that's not right.
I've never cared about it, so I really don't know.
Knots indicated airspeed, we don't care. The pilot cares about that, right? That's what he's going to be seeing is his speed, altitude. Okay, so we only care about our true airspeed and our pounds per engine. Remember, this is pounds per engine on this chart. Okay, so we take the average of our pounds per engine. 1438, 1492 gives us 1,456 pounds, and then multiply that by 2 to give us, because we have 2 engines. What does that give us?
2912. Or does that sound right?
Sounds right.
1456 times 2.
Is 2912.
Okay, 2912. Okay, 2912, that's our fuel per hour. Okay. Now, what's our true airspeed?
441.
441. Okay, TAS, and this is our fuel. Okay. Now, what do we do with that information?
Now we can fill in our line on the flight plan. That's our
Good. Yep. Okay, so let's go over to our flight plan
we use our app.
and use our new 99-cent app to figure out. So we can put in, for our true airspeed, we put in 441, right? Okay. Our magnetic course, let's figure that out really quick. Go to Sky Vector. And with this one,
58.
it's really nice. We can just use the radial off the VOR, 258, right?
Oh, sorry, 258. I said 258.
Okay. So 258. Okay. So now we need to figure out, we've got our average winds aloft, right?
235, 58.
So we've got 235 at 58 knots, and then our ISA deviation that we're using is ISA, right? Okay, put that in that box.
So true course in my app is the magnetic course.
Do we have to put
Yes.
ISA in that box? Or just because it says winds allowed?
You can write small enough, yeah.
Because I don't have any.
If you can put it in there, put it in there. If you can't, It's okay. Just know that you're using the ISO chart for that segment. Okay, so what is your magnetic heading correcting for your winds?
255.
I got 258. Oh.
What'd you get?
I got 256. And then for my ground speed, I got 385.5. So it's close enough.
Mine might just be rounding it. I don't have big digits, so.
Well, now that we know I didn't have to fill out the boxes.
So this is when we redo our calculation.
This is what I got for the heading and the ground speed. I don't know if we got similar.
So is true course the same thing as the magnetic course?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I got 255.
Okay. Everybody get same thing? 255 and 387? Okay. Okay, that being said, now we can figure out our segment time, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how do we figure out our segment time?
It's the distance, 105, divided by 385, I think times 60. And I just learned that today, people, if you can believe it.
What y'all got?
Our distance divided by our airspeed.
Ground speed.
So our ground speed, yeah. Remember our time, rate, and distance equation here? Okay. So distance equals rate times time. Okay. So our distance is 105. Our rate is 387 knots is what I got. So, and we don't know our time. So our time is our variable. So we got to divide this by 387. Divide this by 387. And that gives us our time.
Where did you get to that segment one? Where did you get to that segment time?
I got 105.
For the time? You just
Oh,
calculated.
16.21.
Okay.
So 16, it comes out to 60 minutes and 17 seconds, but 16.21, so 16.2. Okay, so our time equals 16.2.
Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry. You can do it for me.
what?
Sorry. I'll turn mine down.
Okay. So, can put our time in here, 16.2. Okay. And our segment burn. How do we figure out our segment burn? You guys have your fast way for people like me.
Pounds per hour.
You are pounds per hour. So 2912
Times the percentage of an hour.
divided by 60 equals. Let's just do this one real quick and then. Okay, 48.5 gallons. And that gives me my fuel per minute, right? Pounds per minute. Okay, that being said, I can just multiply that by my 16 minutes that it takes to fly the 16.2 minutes. Everybody get the same amount? What did you get?
Oh, mine was off like by 300 pounds, so.
Two 68 or 258? What does that say on the
268.
268?
Resume that just a little bit. Thank you.
So then we just add all these up, right? Or subtract them depending on what we got to do. Okay. And then we just got to put our top of descent. We just got to throw that in there too, right? So I can just copy these numbers down to here just to help me get them close so I can actually see what they say. And then we just do our math on these, right? So what's 268 plus 105.3 gives us our 373.4. Oops. Oops, sorry, I did this wrong up here. This should be 163.1. Okay. Okay, our time, we added up 41.5 plus 16.4.
57.9.
7.9. Okay. Total burn,
3,532.2.
3,000.
532.2.
Okay. And subtract that 358 from 6140.
60,682.
Okay. Now what do we do with these numbers? Okay. So our burn off came to a total of 3,530. Let's just round that up to 33. Okay. So we go to our alternate. We didn't have an alternate. We didn't have any hold fuel. So what is our takeoff fuel? 3533 plus 2,500.
6033.
Okay. Add our taxi fuel to give us our ramp fuel. Right, 6283. Okay. Now our zero fuel weight equals
44.
that.
So
So we have our bow plus our payload to give us our zero fuel weight, right? And we find that on our weight and balance chart. We've already figured this one out. We've got our,
56032.
okay. Our takeoff fuel is 6033. If you see that arrow from our previous boxes, okay. Takeoff weight comes to a total of
62,065.
okay, and then our burn off is the 3533, and that equals our landing weight of
58,532.
okay. Everybody got those numbers?
So the payload, the 11184 is just the passengers. The bags have to add 1950 to that.
Okay.
Passengers, bags, jump seat in there somewhere.
yeah, with that I got 13.4. Did you add the weight of the bags?
So 13 what?
13.4.
We forgot to add in the cargo to that number.
134?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is our new zero fuel weight? It's right there in front of you on your weight and balance chart.
$57,982.
Okay. Takeoff fuel was 60. What's our new takeoff weight?
$64,015.
Okay. And what's our new landing weight?
60.42.
482?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's got the good numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody feel good about it? Everybody's
So
asleep.
many times you can't even read anything on that page.
Okay. So now we just fill out the rest of the packet, right? We've already got all this information written down somewhere. We just got to transfer our notes, fill out the performance worksheet, and the dispatch release. Flight number 2, The date was 3/19. Okay, from KDEN to KSLC, Captain Salmon, King Salmon. And it was prepared by you. Okay. Origin Airport, KDEN. Okay, what do we put in our runway? For Denver. Okay. Our flaps, what are our flaps at takeoff in this class? Always going to be
8.
Okay, 8. Our outside air temperature.
18 degrees Celsius.
Okay, and what do we always put in the MRTW?
The same number.
Okay. Didn't have a takeoff alternate, but we do have a destination airport, and that is.
KSLC.
And our runway.
16 minutes.
Flaps at landing.
45.
Outside air temperature. Was it 13? Okay. And what do we put in for the MRLW?
67,000.
Okay, what does that stand for?
Max something landing weight.
Max runway management. Okay. Burn to destination, what did we figure out?
1633. Oh, sorry.
Right, 3533. Okay, we didn't have an alternate. We didn't add contingency fuel because there's no weather en route. No traffic, whatever. You guys, we talked about that last class, right? So takeoff fuel equals. Now you got it, Matt.
6033.
And that equals what for our ramp fuel?
6083.
62.80.
Okay. And we convert that to time. What was our time on our IFR flight plan? 57.9 for our burn. Let's just call it 58 minutes for the sake of sanity. Okay. Didn't have an alternate, didn't have contingency, so what's 58 plus 45 in minutes?
43.
Huh?
1 hour and 43 minutes.
1 hour and 43 minutes. Okay. Departure airport. KDEN. Okay. Elevation is 50.
5434.
Okay. Takeoff runway was 34 left. Takeoff alternate, not one. Okay, how do we figure out our V1 speed again?
Our
V1, VR, V2?
speed cards.
Huh?
These speed cards.
Okay. What do we got to look at first? Weight and balance chart. Okay, and we've got to find what on our weight and balance chart?
Takeoff.
Takeoff weight.
Okay, our takeoff weight, what else?
And our landing weight. Oh, is this just for the takeoff portion?
Well, our landing weight, yeah, but we already know our landing weight. What's our, what's the other thing that we got to
Is
find?
it takeoff and elevation? On the temperature charts.
Land speed.
Percent of Mac.
Oh, yeah.
24. Yeah, isn't it?
I'm seeing somewhere in this range.
Mine's a little higher than yours.
64.
Okay, yeah,
My X.
gonna be close. So let's just call it 23 for,
What is a
Fine.
64-pound takeoff chart, right?
I haven't got that far. I was figuring out my Mac. Flight planning, okay. We're gonna go over to our takeoff stab and trim, okay. Percent of Mac. We'll take a look at this chart. Okay, we're always flap 8, right? So we're always this first chart. So what was our takeoff weight?
64,215.
Okay, so we're just gonna round that up to 65,000 pounds and use 23% of Mac. That gives us this beautiful number right here. Okay. 6.9. So put that on your stab, trim stab setting. Now let's do our V1, VR, V2. So you can figure this out in whatever order you want. Okay. Now let's go over here to our performance chart. We know that we have, oops, sorry, no, it's right here. Okay. So our takeoff is 64,000 pounds. Okay. Okay, 64,000 pounds, and our flap setting was 8, and our altitude was somewhere between right here, right? What was our temperature?
18.
Somewhere in there. Right? Okay. So you choose VR V2, VR, okay, and V2.
I'll just say 126.
126, 126, 136. Everybody good there? Oh, sorry, my bad. Okay. Destination was KSLC. Airport elevation 4223, right? Something like that. 4227. What is it?
That's 4227.
Okay, 4227. Landing runway,
16 left.
landing speed.
131.
Okay, so how did you figure that out?
I can't remember.
Okay,
Go to the bottom of that chart.
so we got to figure out our landing weight, which we figured out is like 60,000 pounds, right? Okay, 60,000 pounds. We're going to come down here to our landing portion. We're always landing at flaps 45, right? Is it the 124 or 134 on our landing? I can't remember now. All of a sudden.
What's that?
124 or 134 on our landing speed.
I believe the VREF.
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 So 124.
Can you show me where that land, which takeoff chart did you use again?
The landing weight.
60, okay, I got confused because of the takeoff part.
Huh?
I got confused because of the takeoff part.
Oh, yeah. So we go to the landing weight. So take this for our pounds. Landing, okay? And go down to the landing. So it's just saying 60,000 pounds. This is your takeoff section. And this is your landing section for 60,000 pounds. And then flaps 45, VREF 124. Good?
Mhm.
Okay. You didn't have an alternate airport and don't care about the runway. Okay. So we filled out that page. Look at that. Like all these pages filled out. Except for the last one, the most important one, right? So now we just transfer everything over. 319. Salmon. Dispatcher, you. Original release, yes. Okay. And it's IFR. Okay. Flight number. Aircraft number was 754 Sierra Kilo. Is that right?
I think it was 748.
748 Sierra Kilo. Okay. Bless you.
Thanks, yeah.
Went from KDEN over to KSLC. Didn't have any alternates, and we planned flight level 380. Okay, our route. You can just take off our sky vector here. We go KDEN dot our route, right? Put our little dots between our spots there. KSLC, estimated time of departure 20:25. Estimated time en route 59.7, right? That's what we figured out. Or we can just, was that it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's call it 60 minutes, okay? ETA, just for finishing this off, okay? ETA is 21:25. Knots true airspeed, just say 400. Okay, taxi fuel. What's our taxi fuel always?
250.
250. Estimated en route fuel burn. Didn't have an alternate. Fuel reserve. What's our fuel reserve? Okay, no contingency, no hold. What's our release fuel? Right? And then our Minto, destination alternate and reserve, comes to 6033, correct? Okay, our airport here is KDEN. Our planned runway was 34 left. Planned outside air temperature 18. Planned winds, what was our, variable at 3? Okay, planned runway takeoff weight 75,000 pounds. Our flap setting was flaps 8. Our planned takeoff weight was what? 64,215? Okay, our max V1 was 126. Okay. KSLC, planned runway was 16 left. Planned outside air temperature was 13. Planned winds were
170 at 10 knots.
okay. 67,000 pounds. Flap setting was 45. Planned landing weight was
60.
42.
okay.
60.2.
NA on the MELs, NA You sign it. PIC signs it. And we have ourselves another completed flight plan. Everybody feel good about it? Feel better about it? Come on, give me that.
I feel better.
Better.
Yeah, I feel better about it. That's to all the number calculations towards the end.
Okay. So, Adam, what's our schedule this week? Well, first off, who everybody want to get together tomorrow during the day?
Me. I